Hi, so we are going to look at SQL join. So this is one of the very core major topic in SQL. SQL joins. So we have a way of joining two tables or two or more tables, if possible, so that you can get a kind of full-fledged information from that the one or two or more tables. So we are going to look at join. Now, let me just make a reference to this material, W3 School, which I usually make reference to. It has a very simplified descriptions of the concepts. Okay, so we have SQL join here. Now, when you read through this W3 School's website, a very, very good website. So when you look at SQL join here, what is this saying? It said SQL join or SQL join clause is used to combine rows from two or more tables based on related columns between them. So there are tables, for instance, there could be two more or more than one or two tables. I mean, very many tables. Let me just assume that possibly like 10 in some large organizations like Amazon. You could have several tables. You understand? So in that such a case now, and those tables could be linked, they could be related. You understand? So like for instance, I'm talking about e-commerce application. E-commerce application, as for instance, you have category table. There's tables that consist of only categories. Then you have tables that consist of products. Then you have tables that consist of let's say customers or people that have purchased, that want to purchase goods or products from those stuff, as people that sign up. Then you also have, for instance, maybe employees tables. For instance, you also have orders, if orders are placed. You understand? So if you look at category now, all products are connected to category. They belong to one or two, they belong to one category, let's assume. So that means product table is related to category table. Then when people place order, they place order on the product. That means orders table, that is tables that consist of all the orders placed, they are related to products. You understand? So you can see the relationship. Then those orders that are placed, they are placed by people that have possibly registered or signed up on the website or on the platform, e-commerce platform. So you can see that link. You understand? So we are looking at, if you have information in one table that is linked to another table in such a way that they are related, so you can display their relationship. You can display their relationship in terms of showcasing information from the tables at once, just in a single table. But those single table now is an output, or is an offshoot of the other two or three or more tables. You understand? So that's what I'm talking about when it comes to join. So there could be need to join tables. There could be need to combine tables or rows from two or more tables. You understand? So that is called join. You use join clause. So when we are dealing with something like that, we're talking about relationship. So we could have a table can be related to another table. So we can have one-to-one relationship. You could have one-to-many relationship. You could have many-to-many relationship. You understand? I think these are the three major relationship. So we have one-to-one, we have one-to-many, and we have many-to-many. You understand? So that is it. But I'm not going to go deep into that. This is just introductory class to SQL join. So let me also show you some other important information or tips about join. Now, let me quickly talk about this. Before, in our previous class, we say, select let's say we are selecting ID, for instance, order ID, for instance, and the customer name and order date from a table, for instance. We say from a particular table. So what we usually say, we just say customer, we just say order ID, like that. But now, because we are joining two or more tables together, we have to specify which table the ID belongs to. So that's why we have to put there's a table called orders in this case now. Then we have to specify that if you say dot order ID, means the order ID is inside a table called orders. You understand? The same thing with customer name is inside a table called customers, because you are joining. Because if you have ID in other table, or in one table you have another field called ID again on that table. When you just say select this ID, select this other ID, you can't differentiate that ID from the other ID. That's why you have to link it up to their table so that we know which ID belongs to which ID are we talking about when we are saying that this ID and this ID. How do we specify that this ID belongs to? So we have to use that dot to connect it to a table so that we know the table it belongs to. So that is another changes or another adjustment that we are going to make based on, which is quite different from the previous way we specify field name like column names. Okay, so let's move down again. So that's one tip I wanted to specify. Now let's move down to this place. Different type of SQL join. So we have different type of SQL join. When you are joining, in that case now you could join. Let's assume that it's just 2 tables. We don't want to go beyond 2 tables for now because I want to make sure that the concept is quite very simplified so that you understand. When you understand the concept very well, you can expand the scope to several tables. Okay, now these 2 tables, for instance, so you can join 2 tables together such that you pick the common element on both tables alone. That's what you're interested in. You want to just check a matching, like what it said, that it's inner join. We have what's called inner join now. It returns record that have matching value on both tables. Just a matching value. That's what you need. You don't need. So this table 1 or table 2. In this case now, we are using kind of if you study set in mathematics, it's more like Venn diagram. So look at it now. What is common here? What is common here? This is the intersection point. This is the point of commonalities. Points that there is something common on table 1 and something common on table 2. So we are only interested in what is common. So this is the best diagram I think we can use to describe what inner join is, or what the various kind of join is. That is Venn diagram or set Venn diagram. Yeah, so that is called inner join. Inner join is just to pick what is common in table 1 and 2 and return it. That's when I say return it, that means that's what you're interested in, want to display it. Okay, the other one is left join. So left join is that we pick everything in table 1 and then pick what is common in table 1 and 2 alone. So we pick everything in table 1 and the matching content or values in table 1 and 2. Okay, that is left join. Left join, you see the table in left join, you understand that one table is left, the other one is right. So the one that is in your left is simply when you're typing. We type from left to right. So the table you measure first when you are joining is called your left table. So you can see it's in the left hand. You understand? So and then the matching stuff. Yeah. So that is left join. So right join is what is the other opposite of left join. So what is common and then everything in table 2 or the right table. So let's move to the last one, which is full outer join. Full outer join in this case now is simply everything in table 1, everything in table 2, and then the matching values in table 1 and 2 at the same time. So that is for SQL join. So but if you are dealing with SQL generally, you have the implementation of SQL in different softwares or software management system like Oracle, different like MySQL, like Microsoft Access, and so many other database management systems. So in this case, there's a kind of a little difference. So if you go to MySQL here right now, you will see it's not going to call it full outer join. So they have their specific name for that full join. So let me just quickly go to MySQL join here now. So you see it, MySQL join. I refer majorly to this website because it's quite very explanatory. So in MySQL, they call it cross join. In this case, you can see cross join. So that's what they call it as. So we have inner join, we have left join, you have right join, and you have cross join. So this is just the introductory explanation about join clause, and it's one of the advanced topic and very relevant topic, whether you are a data analyst, data scientist, or you're a software developer, generally like a backend developer. You need to understand this concept very well so that you'll be able to build applications that are scalable or big applications, okay, especially like e-commerce applications and so many other stuff, and maybe student management system also. Okay, so we're going to stop here for today, and next class, this is just the part 1. So next class I'm going to go straight to the implementation. I'm going to use 2 tables. I'm going to use 2 tables to explain the concept. So let's stop here right now. So do have a nice day. I see you in the next class.